Hi, I'm Laura and welcome to week 4 of my 4 weeks to a healthier you plan. So this is the last and final week, but that doesn't mean that we're going to forget about this for week 5 and week 6. This is something I want you to try and incorporate into your daily diet. One of the things that I've learned over the years is that you can't go on a diet short term and then suddenly go back to normal again. So I don't really class what we've been doing as a diet. It's more about making some healthier choices in your life. And I want you to be able to bring these choices forward and continue them to make sure that you get to your health goals. Okay, so just a little summary of what we've already done. So I always think that the best part of the day is your breakfast. And research shows us that people who have a healthy breakfast will tend to be healthier in general, and they tend to eat less, and they tend to have less of an issue with weight problems. You need your breakfast. It's really important for your energy, but for your memory and concentration as well. So I hope that you are having a healthy breakfast every day. Then I talked a lot about diversity in your diet, because diversity is really important, that you're getting lots of different types of foods, fruits, veg, because they all have different nutrients. So we want you to have a variety of vitamins and minerals. I talked a lot about colour, how I want you to try and have a rainbow of foods in your diet. And that's really because the highly coloured foods like blueberries, squash, broccoli, all those foods are really beetroot, they're all really high in antioxidants. And antioxidants are things that help our bodies to renew themselves. They help our cells to regenerate. Really good for anti-aging. So those are kind of really important. We also talked a lot about protein, and I want you to make sure that you're having good sources of protein and that you're taking maybe a little bit of protein with your carbohydrates. As for carbohydrates, again, you need to have what we call complex carbohydrates, not simple carbohydrates. Your complex carbohydrates are the whole grain foods. They're your brown pastas, they're your wholemeal bread, the fiber. The simple carbohydrates are the things that have been refined. They're your white breads, your white pasta, your cakes, your biscuits, those kind of things. And they're what we're trying to avoid. We also talked a lot about drinking water, how we sometimes mistake thirst for hunger, but also water nourishes the body. It really helps the joints. A lot of the time when people have stiff joints or have cramps in their muscles, it's because they're dehydrated. People get headaches from dehydration. It's also really important for your skin. When you're dehydrated, it really shows in your skin. So try and consume water if you can, at least 6 to 8 glasses of water a day. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is, and I started off about talking about the gut, and I really want to finish with the gut, because I believe that the route to a healthy body is a healthy gut. Your gut is crucial. It's often very underrated, and you don't hear a lot of talk about your gut, but it is the powerhouse of the body. It's the engine of the body. It's where your body takes the fuel and uses it to nourish and to fuel every form in the body. Every organ is really fueled by the gut. So I want you to really remember how important it is that you look after your gut. Your gut is also your second brain, and there's that huge connection between depression, anxiety, food cravings, and the gut. So a healthy gut will help to improve your overall mental health as well. So we talked a little bit about probiotics. I want to just go on a little bit more about those. When you're taking a probiotic, it's very important that you have the right environment for that probiotic to flourish. So it's all about the pH level in your gut. Many of us will have, our bodies will be very acidic, and our bodies tend to be acidic because of the choices of foods that we make. If we're having a lot of sugar in our diet, a lot of processed foods, they will leave our systems quite acidic. So it's about introducing more alkalining foods into your gut. And those are your whole grains again, they're your green leafy vegetables. And your cider vinegar as well. We often think about cider vinegar being acidic, and yes, it does taste acidic, but it has a really alkalining effect on your gut and really is a good place for the bacteria to try and flourish. So, it's a good thing to take. Like I said, some people can't tolerate cider vinegar, and that's okay. You can use a little bit of lemon juice if you like. You could add some manuka honey to your cider vinegar, like I said before, or some people take a little bit of bread soda, whatever suits you best. But it is important to look at your diet and introduce more alkalining foods. Once we've got the environment right for the good bacteria, then we need to introduce it. So unfortunately, a lot of our foods that we eat today deplete the good bacteria in the gut. Sometimes if we're eating a lot of meat, we might find that those animals have had a lot of antibiotics, and the antibiotic residue can filter through to you in your gut. So try to be a little bit careful about the amount of meat that you eat. I want you to have protein, but there are lots of good sources of protein other than meat. So, we want to get that good bacteria there. There are lots of good probiotics out there on the market, and they are worth taking, particularly if you've had to have an antibiotic at any stage, or if maybe you're on prescribed medication. So getting a probiotic is important. Again, you need to keep that there. So once that probiotic is established in the gut, you need to maintain it, and that's where a healthy diet comes in. So lots of diversity in your diet, lots of vegetable fiber. Just another word about the gut. One of the most important things that I want you to focus on, for your last week is about sleep. Insomnia, lack of sleep, very, very hard on the body. We know that sometimes if you aren't getting enough sleep, it can contribute to weight gain, it can contribute to high blood pressure, and it just leaves you feeling wrecked the next day, and it's hard to be motivated when you haven't slept well. So I want you to focus on improving your sleep pattern. So I want you to look at how you could get a better night's sleep. I have to say, myself personally, I do struggle a little bit with sleep. It's something I have to really work hard at. So if you're someone like me who maybe finds it a little bit difficult, try to establish a good bedtime routine. Try to go to bed at the same time every day and get up at the same time. Very boring, but if you are having a bout of insomnia, it really does help. Your bedroom should be for sleep. You shouldn't have any electronic equipment in there. Get your laptops, your television, everything out of your room. Keep it nice and dark, not too hot, not too cold. And make sure that before you go to bed that you wind down a little bit. When the evening time comes, our brain starts to make melatonin. And melatonin is really important for sleep, but your brain can only make melatonin at nighttime when it's dark. So if you're sat in front of a computer screen or in front of a television, your brain does not make melatonin, so you are going to struggle to sleep. I like to have a little bit of magnesium before I go to bed. I find it helps. If you have low blood pressure or high blood pressure, be a little bit careful. Taking it at night time is probably the best, but if you're on a lot of blood pressure medication, check with your doctor first. Finally, a little word about variety in your diet. We get bored. We are creatures of habit sometimes, but we do get bored from eating the same foods all the time. Try and be a little bit adventurous with your diet. Try different foods. If you're somebody who's not too good at cooking, get yourself some good recipe books. There are simple recipes that you can use. I've put together a plan. I call it my Healthy Gut Plan, and it's a 6-week plan. It's really full of really good recipes, just your everyday favorites that your family will enjoy as well, and just a new twist on them to really help your gut. So you can check out my gut plan. Lastly, I want you to think about consistency. As I said, this is not a diet for 4 weeks, and in fact I don't particularly like the word diet. This is just a change in your lifestyle habits. So I want you to have a good breakfast. I want you to drink plenty of water in your diet. I want you to get up in the morning and do a little bit of stretching. If you've ever seen a dog or a cat and you see how they stretch first thing in the morning, it wakes the body up. I want you to practice mindful eating. And mindful eating is just making sure that you're sitting down at the table when you're eating. That's always a good plan. So if you sit down and you've got your plate in front of you and you're eating, you know what you're putting in. Sometimes before we even sit down at the table, we've been testing and tasting the dinner and we've been eating lots. Sometimes we're eating on the way home from work in the car, in the shop before we go shopping. So I want you to physically sit at the table when you're eating, and that will really help you to monitor what you're eating during the day. Finally, exercise. We were made to move. You need to exercise. Every one of us needs to get out there and get some fresh air and exercise our muscles. I talked a little bit about protein and how important it is to strengthen your muscles, but exercise is really important as well. If you don't use it, you lose it. So make sure that you're strengthening your leg muscles and your arm muscles. As I said, you don't have to lift weights or go to the gym. Simple couple of cans of beans, a few squats, just a few arm raises, anything just to keep that muscle density there. As we get older, we start to get weaker. We don't want to be weak, we want to be strong. It's not about being skinny, it's about being strong and healthy. So try to kind of focus on that. Finally, I want you to kind of leave you with this thought. I want you to like yourself. Sometimes when we're overweight or we're feeling pretty miserable, we loathe ourselves. You know, we've eaten something we shouldn't and we will be racked with guilt afterwards, and that's no good. Guilt is not a good emotion. So if you've made a mistake, if you had that piece of cake, don't beat yourself up about it and feel bad. Just make sure that the next day you do better. And that's really the key to it. It's learning to love yourself and to nourish your body. If you like yourself, you will feed yourself good foods. Finally, I really want to thank you all for staying with me for the next 4 weeks. I'm hoping that I have given you some useful tips. It's nothing dynamic, it's just basic common sense, but I hope it will help you in the future. If you would like to find out a little bit more about my healthy gut plan, you can get it on my website. My website is laurathompsonhealth.com, and that will bring you to a link to the healthy gut plan. Thank you for listening. Please do your very best and remember that consistency is the key. Keep going and you will feel better. Thank you.